Honestly, I gotta tell you, I ain't really tryna do nothing but for your love, for your love, for your love, for your love. I ain't really tryna do nothing but for your love, for your love, for your love.
Welcome, my transcenders in the dystopian society. You feel me? Today we got a first episode to a new segment called the Universal University, and I got a little theme song going. It's the Universal University, hey, it's the Universal University, hey, you feel me? If you was jamming with me to it, if you was rocking out with me, you feel me? Just, I'm a great YouTube, I'ma subscribe to you feel me? Cause that's love, appreciate the love. So what we have here today are the 12 universal laws, or also the 12 spiritual laws. These laws govern every entity in existence. I'm not talking to your body right now. I'm talking to the spirit, you feel me? I need you to open your solar sight right now and see what I'm saying. You feel me? Do you feel me? Come on now. Alright, so we're just gonna start it off on the first one here. We have the law of oneness, which is funny. It's really easy to remember. The first law of oneness. Now, they're not actually in any particular order, but if you did want to order them, that would help you remember. So we're gonna go over the first law, which is the law of oneness, and it states that everything in the universe is connected. We're gonna go ahead and readjust this. So it states that everything in the universe is connected. So how do we know this, Mr. Universal? Well, I'm glad you asked, Dystopian Society. So we know that everything is connected because we understand down to a microscopic, down to a atom size level, which is the smallest physical particle that we can calculate. And this is what makes up the entire universe. This is what makes up everything from sound to the concrete steel in a building. Everything is composed of atoms. And this is the level of organisms in the creation process. Everyone starts off as atoms. Atoms become cells, cells become tissue, tissues become organs, organs become organ systems become organisms. And this is how, from a small, minute particle, you are built and composed into a fully functioning organism capable of free will. And we'll get down to it, but just know that within every cell, within every atom, middle around, you have electrons, you have protons and neutrons in the middle, and you have electrons circling them. Consult your periodic table. And a little fun fact, there are several periodic tables. So yeah, it's just a fun fact. But going back to it, so everything in the universe is connected, and we know this because we are all atoms and we all share the same structure down to a minute level. So whatever affects something else affects us, and whatever affects us affects something else. YouTuber I watched by the name of Young Pharaoh, and he made a good point. There is no murder, there's only suicide. So just think about that. We are all connected. So the fish that you caught, that you over hunted and used and consumed, they affect you at the end of the day, because that source that you remove now affects the environment, and the environment in return affects you. So just know that, the law of oneness. My bad, dang, I'm sorry, board. The second one, law of vibration. Everything is moving. Now, how do we know this? So we prove that everything is connected through atoms, through the most microscopic level, and we see that an atom is the combinations of atoms is what creates every organism. So what happens is, now we're looking at atoms. Are atoms standing still? No, atoms are actually vibrating, and everything vibrates, from the sound of my voice to the emotions to the desires. I put up a chart stating just the different levels of emotions and the frequencies or vibrations that it emits. It vibrates, I think, per something designates the frequency, and the amount of the frequency is designated by the amplitude. I don't want to get into, I'll probably do a picture of that just to show you a quick demonstration so you learn something. But okay, so yeah, everything from emotions, desires to your senses, these all are experienced through vibrations. And how do we know this? Because we know everything's an atom, and atoms vibrate. Okay, so the law of correspondence. So this is as above, so below. So now that we know that everything is built up of a microscopic, everything is just compound microscopic organisms. People have said that we are a collection of stardust. This is because that everything we possess, the universe is possessed, and vice versa. This is why it's important to have your environment, your external environment, reflect your internal environment, because you are both influencing each other. So if you're out of balance, then that means the energy you're emitting is soaking, saturating your environment with a negative frequency. Or if your environment is out of balance, that means the energy that it's emitting is soaking and saturating your spirit, causing a disunity from within. So what you want to do is, that's why it's important to make sure you eat right, to clean your room every day. I know y'all are tired of hearing it. I know parents just sounded like they wanted to give y'all a task for no reason, but it's important to clean up your room. It's kind of like a snowball effect. You know, if you get up early, you get a workout in, then after your workout in, you eat good, then now you're feeling good, and you're not hungry. So now you may go get ahead on your classes. Now you're ahead on classes, so you're feeling good. You're feeling good emotionally, physically, and spiritually, because you've taken care, you know, you've taken the first step. So now second, third, and fourth are easy, and vice versa. So that's just the law of correspondence. We're on the fourth law, the law of attraction, and it states that like attracts like. Now, so now we know that the law of oneness, everything is together. Vibration, everything vibrates because everything is made of the same thing. The law of correspondence, as above, so now. This is the law of attraction, and this is what you bring towards you. Now, what attracts? So your greatest source of output from within is actually not your mind, but your heart. So this is why it's important to become righteous. It's important to live according to a certain code, which the best code on here, which is the law of oneness. After you've fully embodied that, then you will start to see that what you attract is then positivity. The law of attraction, you want to utilize this by committing acts of kindness, committing acts of love. So keep in mind that everything is accounted for. So you must, it's important. Go from within and change your heart first. And your heart is actually the gateway between righteousness, which is your higher level of existing, or your chakras from 6 or 7, 6, 5. Your fourth one is your heart, and then you go 3, 2, 1. So just on a number scale, you know that 4 is halfway between 7, because you go 3 down and 3 up. So know that if you change your heart, it's your greatest emitter, your greatest amplifier. It gives off the highest amplitude, and with this you can begin to attract more positivity. You can begin to attract just anything advantageous to you, just by acting out of a certain way, and that way is through righteousness. So next one, the law of action. Now, did I say we want to talk through a certain way? Did I say we want to feel it? Well, we do want to feel a certain way, but I say, do we want to pray a certain way? No, I said we want to act. I believe that action is applied wisdom. So once you've gained the knowledge, what use is it then not to use it? Because you might as well have spent your time doing something else, going over something else. Because honestly, if you were not going to act upon what you learned, why even learn it? So every day is just a building, a growing challenge. You know, I understand that sometimes we act out of what we feel the truth is, or our truth is, or we act of what we feel is the righteous thing to do in that moment, and it doesn't play out in the end. But I guarantee you, if you were acting out of a good place, regardless of how the situation turned out, you will receive, because of the law of correspondence, you will receive your dividends in the way of blessings, fortune, and or whatever, whether they be from spiritual guidance, or whether they be from physical manifestations, such as money, such as other tangible items, which honestly money isn't even real, but you know, some of y'all seem to be really attached to it. So speak to you on what you value. So the law of action. Actions, that's why they also say that actions speak louder than words. But best advice for that is live righteous, act righteous. And how do you act righteous? Again, through the law of oneness. So now we're on the sixth one, the transmutation of energy. Now, transmutation of energy, it just means the continual change of energy, similar to how water evaporates, then it condensates, then it precipitates. This is just changing of energy, and like Newton said, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So that means everything's just continuously in motion, and which supports our other one is vibration, because everything being continuously in motion, and atoms possess energy. They also possess intelligence within the nucleus, but that's another topic for another day. So the transmutation of energy. So now we know that everything is constantly moving, and with that movement there is energy being shared. So this is important for those of you who feel that your situation is out of your control, you feel that your situation is more powerful than you. I want you to know that even if you made a small percentage or small change to the current situation that you were in, you can still make that change. And all it is that all big victories are little wins. Like if you're playing these sports, you know, I probably got some basketball fans, probably got some football fans. So we'll do football because that's what I used to do. So think about football. All you have is one play. If you do one play good, you'll get some yardage. You do 2 plays good, you'll get some yardage. 3 plays good, 4, 5. If you can get 10 consecutive gaining or positive plays, then before you know it, you know you're close to scoring, you're close to putting on points, and that's all it is. So now you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 things right. Now you're able to score. Then after that, you know, now you're up. Now you're up in the game. You put your points on the board, and all you have to do is continue to do the small things right. That's why they preach fundamentals. Fundamentals are these small things. All experts do is combine fundamentals at a higher level. It's a higher combination of fundamentals. So just know that if you do the little thing right, the big things will fall in place. If you do the little things right, the big things will fall in place, starting with slowing down your words. So now we're going on to 7, which is the law of cause and effect. And the next one is the law of compensation. Oh, and I pointed to correspondence earlier. I meant to point to compensation. So the law of cause and effect, and I kind of combined it 7 and 8 because I believe they were equivocal. So okay, so it's back to your environment affecting you and you affecting your environment. So similar to how the transmutation of energy continues to flow, so now we know that energy is continuing to flowing, and you are a source. You are similar to a battery. Nikola Tesla compared, while his views of the human were anticlimactic, he compared us to basically meat, electronics with meat. You know, I like to give us a little more hope than that. You know, we're divine beings. We're divine beings with a source of energy to change our environment. So now you know that so you can affect the universe and the universe can affect you. This is basically while I do not believe in religion, I do believe that you reap what you sow. And which is just to give an example, if you plant a seed of negativity in your environment, such as littering, such as hatred, such as speaking negatively, any one of these sources is a source of negativity. Once you plant that seed of negativity, how can I grow positively? Like that, you know, that doesn't even make any sense. This is why it's important to have manners. It's important. You can even speak to something such as a plant. If you speak politely, lovingly, righteously to a plant, you can actually nurture it. Plants are, so let's go back down to the law of oneness. We are all the same thing, so this shouldn't be a shocking concept. That's why, so not only can you speak life into everything, you can speak life into people, you can speak life into plants, you can speak life into food, you can speak life in anything. Anything can be strengthened with love, higher vibration, righteousness. It continues, like, because everything is the law of oneness, like it's on the board. You feel me? It's on the board. So look, we're gonna go ahead and go on to the next one. So compensation and cause and effect, I grouped them together. So we're gonna go ahead and skip from 7 and go down to 9. Law of relativity. Now, everything is relative to your perspective, and this is so important. So through your perspective, you can then change your feelings, your heart, and like we said earlier, in the law of attraction, your heart is the most important thing that you can possess. With the righteous heart, you can then be rewarded at your highest ability. Also, so we'll say attraction and action. So the acting upon your heart is the greatest reward you can get, but changing your heart is the first step to that. So, and how do you do that? You change your heart through the law of oneness, and this is also acting. This is also being righteous, acting as if all are you. Therefore, you take care of all. Therefore, you love all. Therefore, you are nurturing to all. So back to the law of relativity. So I'll just give you two quick examples. Basically, you can see from the 6 or 9 that depending on where you're standing, that's what changes. So there is no right or wrong. There's only perspective. You do not. This is what you have to keep in. You have to understand. You do not know 100% of the information that you are taking in. You can only account from what you've gained in your past, what the past experiences have collected to become, and what you then have to pull your source off of. Therefore, if you had more information, your outcome, your perspective would change. I will say how you could take a negative scenario and still look at it positively, and we'll talk about how you can take a positive scenario and look at it negatively. So say you lose $10, right? You lose $10, and while you would have liked to spend it, you were never you were never attached to it, and 2, you can think about it as, okay, I lost $10, but maybe someone else was acting in the law of oneness and the law of attraction in action, and they spoke righteously, thought righteously, felt righteous, and in this part of their reward was actually taken from me because I had an abundance and I had more than them. So what the universe did is it rewarded them by subtracting from me, but while not being a punishment to me, it was a reward to them. So therefore, I did lose, but you know, with a change of perspective, with a change of your thought process, you were able to still hold a loving, a compassionate stance. So now we'll say, how can you gain $10 and feel bad? Okay, so say I'm going to the movies. You know, I got me a little fly chick with me, you know what I'm saying? We kicking it, we trying to go see New Avengers, new Batman. Shout out to Batman, shout out to Joker, that was a really good movie. And I got a poster of him, but I'm not gonna show y'all. Anyway, so you gain 10, you like, hey mom, you know, I got this, hey mom, hey dad, I got this little fly chick I'm trying to take to the movies with me. You know, let's go. So then, they say, oh yeah, baby, of course, so give you $10. And now you gain $10, and to your perspective, while you did just get money to go to the movies, you wanted 20, you wanted 30. So now you're mad at your parents. You're like, oh, why did they only gave me $10. What am I supposed to do? I can't even, if I wanted to get extra food, if I wanted to get blase, now I can't do it. So now, even though you have received, you still feel bad. Even though you have gained, your perception on the event has not led you to become, has not led you to be able to sustain a positive or a compassionate stance at the end of the day. And this is all due to perceptive. How did you perceive, or what did you expect to come from an event? Okay, so what I like to say for this one is that expectation is the leading cause of depression or excitement and expectations. So what I say is just remove expectation. Know what the outcomes can be, prepare them, but do not expect them. You know, that there's a difference. When you expect something, this is when you become let down, or this is when you become lifted up. So just know that expectations are what drive your feelings. So remove expectations and just react accordingly, and you will notice yourself becoming more calm, becoming more responsive, and more fluid, because you now you're not only prepared for all situations, but you hold a calm mind, which allows you to think and coordinate effectively through every situation. So now we're on 10, the law of polarity. Everything possesses everything has a good and bad side depending on how you look at it. I could have kind of combined these, the law of relativity, because it's all really based on perspective, polarity. So say that you've been, we'll take the same situation, we'll take a different situation, but we'll look at it the same way. So say you've been dating this guy, or so it's a girl that's been dating a guy, or a guy that's been dating a girl. Y'all been dating for 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, some, you know, exuberant amount. I don't know if exuberant was right, but it sounded good. So you've been dating for an extended period, and now it comes to the end. So now you're heartbroken. Oh, you know, boo-hoo me, I wasted all that time, blah, 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 blase, blase, blase. So now at the end of the experience, you can look at it one of two ways. The negative frequency way to look at it: oh, I wasted that time, that person, I should have known from the beginning, oh, I'm mad at myself, oh, this and that, this and that. So that would leave you in a negative vibrational state. And the other state you could leave in was, okay, well, we spent 10 years together, so I know that I now have the capacity to continuously commit to one entity or one continuous action for 10 years plus. And I know that now, since we couldn't make it past 10 years, I know that these are the characteristics I do like for someone long term, and these are the characteristics that I don't like. So now entering my next situation, I can more accurately gauge whether the person that I am going to, I don't want to say entangle, but the person I'm going to, you know, procreate with, potentially is, will they be sufficient, or will they be non-sufficient, so, or insufficient. So now we're going to go on to the 11th law, or the law of rhythm. This is cycles, seasons, and patterns. So this is backed by the 2nd law and the 6th law. This is a kind of combination of both, saying that everything's moving, not only in itself, but also moving in a direction. So energy is moving, therefore energy is, therefore everything is happening in cycles and stuff like that. So yeah, everything that has a beginning has an end, and truly the concept of time does not exist. There is only now. There is only the present. There is only this moment that you can now live in. The past doesn't exist because it's already happened, and the future truly doesn't exist because it hasn't happened yet. And we don't know what will happen until it happens. Meaning that the present is the only state that you should exist in. I discovered that depression is caused by those who continuously relive their past, and anxiety is experienced by those who continuously wait for, or are not, who continuously wait for their future. So if you want to stay in a balanced, healthy mind state, exist in the present. This is the only thing that exists, and this is the only thing that you need to worry about. Do not continuously bring up negative moments in the past and relive them, because what you're doing, you're putting your body in a fight or flight response, which is a survival response, and no living organism is meant to withstand a survival state for an extended amount of time. So what you need to do is accept and learn from and let go of your past. The future has not came, and when it comes, we will deal with it as it comes, because that is the only thing we can do. We can prepare as much as we want, but until the situation arises, we cannot take care of it. We do not fully know how we will take care of it. So to help prevent depression, to help prevent anxiety, live in the present. Okay, so now we're on the 12th law, or the law of gender, yin and yang, or opposites, masculine and feminine. So everything in the universe is composed of two energies, masculine and feminine, and these are best exhibited through living entities or divine entities such as you and me. Divine entities. So so what happens is that everything is a combination or a balance of two aspects. There is a bad thing to have too little and have too much. So do not, absolutely do not consume too much of anything or too little of anything. They say, you know, proper amounts of sugar, proper amounts of nutrients, proper amounts of protein, proper amounts of sleep, proper amounts of exercising, proper amounts of, make sure that you are living within a healthy measurement of any activity that you choose to partake in, indulge in, or whatever, because knowing this law, the law of genders, that too much and too little are always going to leave you in a bad scenario, and everything is made up of feminine and masculine energy. So I believe that those who are dealing with sexual orientation issues, that's a nice way to say it, masculine attracting feminine, feminine attracting masculine, I believe that there are either mentally imbalanced, chemically imbalanced, or just spiritually imbalanced. And this comes from a neglection of one or more or both sources that dwell from within. You have to, every person both possesses masculine and feminine, and they have to express this. So if your feminine side is suppressed or not able to be let out in different creativities, different creative activities, or different just sources of outlets, a lot of people who demonstrate themselves as the opposite sex have had encounters or something that has caused a neurological detach because of the severity of the event. So you also have to account for that. But those who have not experienced those events, I believe this is the cause, is within every individual. So so yeah, just make sure you keep everything in balance, keep everything situated, organized. You need to become balanced, then try to balance out your environment, and then that'll affect you, or balance out yourself and that'll affect your environment. So this is the first episode of unit. It's the unit, universal university. Hey, it's the unit. It's the unit. Hey, universal university. Ding. Solar side, you dig? I don't even know if y'all got to fully see it, but first episode, we got the 12 laws. We'll just go ahead and go through them one more time. Law of oneness. Everything is connected. We are all made of atoms. Atoms turn to cells. Cells turn into tissues. Tissues turn into organs. Organs turn into organisms. Organisms then make up an ecosystem. So everything is connected to vibration. Everything is moving. We know that everything is connected through what? Atoms, and atoms are continuously vibrating. That's easy. 3, the law of correspondence. As above, so below. We know that external reflects internal, internal reflects external, because we are all the same thing. So this is why it is important to really be mindful of your emotions, desires, and your senses, because these are all influencing you, and with that influence is what you have to draw off of and spiritually digest. So attraction, like attracts like. The 4th law, like attracts like. That's why it's proper. That's why it's important to live in a righteous state. It's important to be loving, compassionate, and caring, because then you will receive love, compassion, and care. So the law of action. This is the highest level of emittance that you can give off frequency wise to the universe. This is what the universe acts off of. Actions speak louder than words. So 6, the law of transmutation of energy. Energy is constantly moving. You can give off just as you can receive. So if you would like to change your current situation, or you would like to improve upon, just know that you can adjust your situation by adjusting yourself. That's why they say if you want to change the world, change yourself first, or something like that. 7, 8, law of compensation, law of cause and effect. Or you can affect the universe and the universe can affect you. So just know that just know that you reap what you sow. Okay, so sow seeds of positivity, compassion, and love, and you can, and that's then what you have to harvest. Similar to a farmer planting corn, beans. When the harvest season comes, that's what they then have to draw from. So 9, relativity. Everything is relative to perspective. Change your perspective, you change your honestly everything. And a great way to change your perspective is to look through the law of oneness, as in everything is being connected. So take care of everything as if it was you. That's simple. Just take care, love everything, because I mean, unless you, that's why you also have to learn to love yourself. Or you can start by loving something else and then applying that love to yourself. Polarity, the law of polarity. This states that everything possesses both good and bad. Good and bad are just relative concepts, which is why I say law of relativity and polarity kind of could have been combined too, but I left them separate. So basically, every situation will go back to the breakup. You know, you look at it as if I learned my lesson now, so next time I won't make it again, or I wasted my time and I'm I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. So keep your perspective. You know, look at polarity of every situation. If there's extreme good, there's extreme bad. If there's extreme bad, then there has to be extreme good. So just keep this in mind. Law of rhythm, cycles, everything continues, everything starts, everything ends, everything lives, everything dies. So don't become too attached to anything. Just know that if it can be given, it can be taken. Just remember that. So we're gonna go in 12, the law of genders, or this is yin and yang. Just know that everything possesses a combination of opposites. So we know that everything possesses opposites. We also know that everything possesses a combination of opposites. Just like the Goldie Bear and the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You know, the first soup was too cold, the second one was too hot, the one in the middle was just right. Know to keep everything in a balance is just right. Not too much sugar, not too little. Not too much exercise, not too little. Not too much focus, not too little. Not too much. Don't give out too much love. Don't not give enough. So everything is in proper. This is why it's important to measure, to get down serving sizes, to get down to know where your BMI, your body mass index, to know where your level is currently, so then you can know if you need to fluctuate in a high. So you need to know if you need to resonate higher or lower to regain in balance. And this can also be measured through your chakras. There's a couple tests you can take online to see if any chakras are too open or too closed. And once these are balanced, you can reach full enlightenment, or you reach a righteous state or a state of oneness just naturally. And the key to doing that is then first changing your heart, because your heart is the gateway. So once you get past all the lower levels of influence and you rise above into the higher vibrations, you will not transcend if you do not change your heart. Live righteously, live according to the spiritual laws or the 12 laws of the universe, and hey, meet you at the top. Dystopian Society, we out.
My chains on like a light show. Turn the lights off, hit the radio. Ain't nothing on but the radio. Like Felicio, call it give and go. My chains on like a light show. Turn the lights off.